I am your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki. I shared this message in church today when my pastor gave me an opportunity to speak. I don't run a church, so I attend a church. I was the general overseer of that church in code, but I'm now the general underseer. I have a pastor that pastors me and I give the church out. So I spoke on prayer, potentials, prosperity, and posterity. I can also add predictive speculations. I'm already living in the year 2025. You can always know how the next year will look like based on what has happened in the previous year, because the years cascade into each other. There's really no new year. New year is according to the Gregorian calendar or the Chinese calendar, the Arabic calendar, the Ethiopian calendar. There are different dates. Let's use the Gregorian calendar. By January 1st, we'll enter 2025. But we are carrying 2024 into 2025. The exchange rate of the dollar vis-a-vis the naira will be determined by what we have done in 2024, even years before 2024. The tax bill that we will carry into 2025 will generate what some of the things I'm going to talk about. The regional government bill will generate a lot of things. But the truth of the matter is that globally, a lot of the leadership globally do not have the mental capacity, the will, the political sagacity to control the events that started from 2024. And so we are going to have more vulgarity. What is vulgarity? Remember, I talked about VUCA as an acronym for V for volatile, U for uncertainty, C for complexity, and A for ambiguity. There's going to be more volatility in the markets, more volatility in military conflicts. There's going to be a lot of uncertainty in terms of economic principles, indices, and all that. The world is going to become more complex. Israel had to fight with Hamas because of one incident, had to fight with Houthis, had to fight with Hezbollah, had to fight with Iran. That led to the weakening of Syria because Hezbollah was weakened, Russia was weakened, the presence of Russia in Syria was weakened by the war with Ukraine. That led to the fall of Assad. We don't know who and what these individuals that are in Syria, the consequences of their driving away Assad. We don't know the outcome of the Ukraine-Russian war. So there's going to be a lot of complexity. Then you now introduce Donald Trump into the system. Then if the Conservative Party in the UK wins, Kemi Badenoch will come in. She looks like a Thatcherite. The whole system is going to generate so much entropy, and there's going to be a lot of enthalpy. And the good thing is that you can maximize whatever happens to the best of to the good of your own microeconomy or your own ecosystem. I have done better under Buhari and Tinubu than I have ever done. So, what are the key principles that you will need to use? Number one, dependence upon God. If you don't believe in God, that's your cup of tea. I believe in God. And the Bible predicted long time ago who and what those who do not believe in God are. The Bible says the fool says in his heart that there is no God. So he predicted that long time ago. Now, prayer. What is prayer? Prayer is communication with divinity, with yourself, and with your environment. When Jesus had a few loaves and a few fishes in his hands, he lifted them up and gave thanks. Giving thanks for the potential that is within the loaves and the fish brought in the presence of divinity that created bread and fish and the matter that constituted them, and the matter started expanding because of the presence of God. So, when David said, "Bless the Lord, O my soul, and all that is within me," he was telling his heart, his kidneys, his livers, his intestine, his liver, his intestines to behave well and bring joy to God. How? Obinderendu Chukwu mari ihe ọma ogwemere mo obinderendu atulegu obinderendu Chukwu mari ihe ọma ogwemere mo obinderendu. That is to say, David was telling his heart, don't panic, be at peace. The Lord my God knows what he will do for me. There are times your intestines can form a knot when you are nervous. When you say, calm down, you are speaking to yourself. There was a time my hands used to tremble based on a past experience. And now I had become a medical doctor, trained in one of the best hospitals in the country, medical schools in the country, and the world as at that stage. And I wanted to do an intestinal anastomosis. And I was nervous. And my hands, as I was scrubbing, my hands wanted to shake. I told my hands, you cannot shake now. There is a child at home to be fed. My eldest son, Dr. Mimi, was newly born. There's a child at home to be born. If you shake, you feed that child. And the hands calm down. You can speak life healing into your system. So, it's a communication with yourself and with your environment. Joshua said the sun and the moon should stand still, and they did stand still. You can speak to your environment. Shall these dry bones live? Thou knowest, prophesy upon them. So you must see yourself as God. Know ye not that ye are gods? You have control. The Archbishop Benson in the House of Blessed Memory had a program, and the cloud gathered, and everywhere was dark. And he said, rain, you shall not fall here. Go fall somewhere else. And in the periphery, far away from him, there was rain. But the environment where the program held there was no rain. That's man's ability to speak to the environment under divine unction. And so, when you pray, as you are preparing to enter the new year, enter a new phase in your life, what do you ask for? Most of our prayer in Africa are born out of fear, doubt, and African mythology. You should pray for insight. You should pray for I number 2, information. I number 3, inspiration. I number 4, instinct. I number 5, instructions. I number 7, impartation. So let's take them again. Information, inspiration, instinct, insight, intuition, instructions, and impartation. You see, every person carries a presence. There are some people that are around you, you become more productive. The Bible says, because of the presence of Joseph in Potiphar's house, that everything in the house prospered, and that even the vegetables in the field prospered. Laban at one time had to consult an oracle, and the demons of that oracle told Laban that it is because of the presence of Jacob, that's why he was prospering. Because of the presence of Jonah in a boat, there was a storm, and people started making losses. So every person carries an essence with his presence, and a person's essence can bless you or bring a curse upon you. So these are the kind of things you should start praying for. God, give me the right information. And Naomi heard that Boaz was threshing wheat. Naomi heard that there was now bread in Bethlehem. That changed the fortune of Ruth. Inspiration, you see something, then you believe you can do it, or something else can happen out of you. So the next thing is these eyes, the eye 7, when you sum them together, it becomes ideas. And when God said, I will pour you out a blessing, it is an amalgam of these eyes that God gives to you to release the potential trapped in you. And now let me define potential. Potential is the unreleased, realizable possibilities that are inherent in you, your activities, your relationship, your speech, your actions, and what is in your hand. And so they are deposits that are there that need to be released. I brought out a young girl to use as an example. The young girl, if she had taken tetracycline when she was younger, her dentition would be brownish and cut short, because tetracycline impregnates the teeth, pigments the dentition. When you take an x-ray of a young child, there are no teeth out, but the potentials are there inside the gums. That's why you don't give children tetracycline. I brought her out, her chest was flat, but there are breast tissues there that can become breast tissues and produce milk for a baby. Most probably her armpit has no armpit hair, but the armpit hair, they are buried inside. They will come with the right stimulus. Her ovaries contain eggs that will eventually become children, but God will not bring her out with children. She can't carry the weight. So God gives people potentials so that eyes have not seen, ears have not heard, neither has it entered the heart of a man what God can do. It's a preservative principle. So God is a God of potentials, and potentials are possibilities. That is why with him nothing shall be impossible. That is why I can do all things through Christ that strengthens me. So each day, each activity, each speech, each relationship, each action, what is in your hand has possibilities that can be released if you do the right thing, pray upon them, act upon them. And so, God is a God of possibilities. He says, let us make man in our image and likeness. What he started with did not look like God. It was dust. So dust turned to man. Man does not look like dust. Dust does not look like man. So your future might not resemble you. I was not like this 5 years back, even 3 years back, even last December. So what you are going to become does not resemble you. You might not resemble your future, but your future is buried in you. And so you must start desiring the manifestation of this future, prophesying this future out of your system. To prophesy is to speak things that be not as if they are, as well as it is predictive. But you can become your own prophet. You will speak to yourself. All the possibilities that are in me will come out before I leave this earth. All the possibilities, good possibilities that are accruable to me will come out. So God asked Moses, what is it that is in your hand? What is it that is in your hand? Moses said, a staff, mpara in Igbo language. But that staff had the potential of becoming a snake, had the potential of dividing the Red Sea, had the potential of swallowing other snakes, but that stick also had the potential of putting Moses into trouble because he struck the rock a second time. That was why he didn't enter the promised land. So you can be a beautiful girl, well-shaped girl. It depends on whether you can manage it well and become Miss Universe, or you will get pregnant for your primary school teacher or secondary school teacher and end up a useless fellow. You can have the potential to run 100 meters and break a world record. If they don't deploy it well, you might end up being a very good hunter that can pursue an antelope and catch an antelope. You might have the potential of being a good detective. If it is not harnessed, if it is not acted on, you might become a very good hunter that knows where a rabbit entered or a grass cutter entered. So potentials can be positively maximized, negatively utilized. For every speech you make, there is a possibility of a problem. A president can make a speech, subsidy is gone forever, and the next day, the economy became VUCA, became turbulent, and they are struggling to recover it now. So you must be very careful. A young girl that was not yet married to a young man just came to live with them, told them that when she was discussing, said, when I enter this family, all this nonsense I'm seeing here, I will not tolerate them. That was the end of her chances of entering that family. So God started with a formless, empty, dark earth. But he started speaking to the earth what he wanted. And then at the end, the earth yielded the best of its potentials, and God appraised and said, this is very good. But even at the level of very good, he still wanted man to administer the earth, to produce other things out of it. Mine the gold, mine the uranium, use uranium positively. Man decided to use it negatively in some instances. So God put man here as an extractor, an administrator, an optimizer. In chemical engineering, there's something called optimization. An optimizer of the resources that God placed here, both of himself, the resources, and others. So that's the nature of potentials. You release potentials. It is when potentials are released that prosperity follows. It is when potentials are released that prosperity follows. So the question is, what do you have in your hand? What can come out of it? What is it that can come out of it? Now, excuse me. I shared a testimony during our Thanksgiving that it is not the money we give during Thanksgiving that matters. It is the journey that matters. So when Jesus took bread and gave thanks, he was thanking God for the journey of the bread multiplying and 12 baskets being left over. Don't complain about what you don't have. Don't complain about who you are not. Don't complain about where you have not reached. Thank God for the possibilities that are within you. And so, what is it that is in your hand? There are possibilities. What money is in your hand? There are possibilities. Excuse me. I gave the testimony that I went to Doroikot in Okanafun local government area to buy 2 bunches of plantain on credit for 60 naira 28 years back. But today I have plantains in my compound. So if I had known, I would have danced more that day during the Thanksgiving if I could foresee the plantains that I had. And then my pastor was going to preach in a funeral, I decided to carry him down because I didn't want him to go with public transport. I even forgot my belt, and I told them that day that I was not sitting on the head table or the altar because I came as a driver for my pastor. I taught my pastor in the Bible school, but that day I wanted to honor him. And after the thanks, the pastor had told my pastor that was going to preach that he didn't want to put the people under stress. Can tell them maximum if you can give 3,000, give 1,000, give 500. And so pastor preached and asked for 3,000, 1,000. The money he got, I'm not sure it was up to 30,000 naira. And then people were doing their Thanksgiving, and I said I wanted to do my own Thanksgiving just to appreciate my mother who disciplined me, that enabled me to complete school because I was crazy. I was wild. She would spit pepper, chilies into my eyes. Because she was small, she couldn't run. To trap me, she would spit chilies into my eyes, flog me if I don't go to school. And so I remain indebted to her that I'm who I am now because she was harsh until they told her that the police will arrest her. That was when she stopped spitting pepper into my eyes. But thank God I am who I am today. And to thank God for my mother, I gave scholarship to 5 children. I gave money to 5 women. Then I gave money to 5 women to do business. Then I gave 100,000 to the pastor. I told him he should eat that money. He should not give it to the church because he agreed to come to pastor in my village. You see, that act my mother did of harsh discipline has the potential of bringing me out, and then I have come to bless the people with prosperity. What she did is a legacy that I have transferred to my children, not in being as harsh as she is, but I have built a legacy that is my posterity. Prosperity should lead to posterity. And so I did a video of the 2 Thanksgivings. I did a recording of the 2 Thanksgivings and posted them. In my local church, somebody sent in $200, that is 340,000 naira, because of that testimony. So that testimony that I shared, there was a potential in it. But to bring the potential out, I needed to act on it. You need to put hydrochloric acid on top of calcium carbonate, stir it so that carbon dioxide can be liberated. So I needed to act on it by doing that video. And the church got 340,000 naira extra, which was more than what many of the people gave. And then I shared the testimony of the one at Efuroto. The people I gave money to start their businesses, small micro businesses with potentials. And somebody sent 500,000 naira from the United States. I have not met him. I can't remember his name. When he sent the 500,000, he said I should give to people 50,000 naira to start that have nothing to do or eat. I resolved that I was going to give the 50,000 naira to people to start small businesses. Even if it is 2,000 naira profit daily times 20 days, it will be 40,000 naira. That's more than half of the minimum wage. So I now told myself that act that he did released another potential. I said that if this man who does not know my people can send 500,000, I will match his 500,000 with another 500,000 of my own, so that we will have 1 million. And then we will give money to more than the people he said. And we have compiled a list of mostly women who are either widows, old, paralyzed, that we are going to give small capital to trade in the beginning of the year. We're doing that January 3rd. We'll transfer money to them. And so that we are doing is going to generate prosperity because they will now multiply what is in their hands. It will flourish. And then prosperity is flourishing. And with time, it will turn to posterity. There's somebody that will say, it is that money that you gave to me that I used to start this business. So that's how the year is organized, your life is organized, your interaction with society, your interaction with yourself and your environment. He stimulated me. And so, the year 2025 and beyond, start asking yourself, what action am I going to take? You pray, God, let this action have a boomerang effect, an amplificative effect, a wave-like effect. Let this relationship I have, that person is related to me by social media, brought 500,000 to this environment here and stimulated another 500,000 from my hands to put into the economy of these people at the base of the pyramid. That is the essence of what I am sharing, the amplificative effect or amplifying effect. Now, in 2 Kings chapter 4, the Bible says, Elisha said, what have you of sale value in the house? The woman said, a little jar of oil. Inside that little jar of oil was wealth. The essence of Elisha was to multiply, because through his presence, the oil acquired multiplicative ability. So, number one, always stay with people who can multiply what is in your hand. There are ideas you give to people, they will act faster. There are monies you will give to people, they will produce more results than you will have produced. There are jobs you will give to people, they will do them better than you. You prosper by putting things in the hands of people who are more intelligent than you, who are more capable than you to do, and you will get better results. So, okay, let me just say something. I woke yesterday night, I didn't sleep on time, and as I was listening to music, an inspiration came. Start a gift shop online. Produce t-shirts. Write on the t-shirts, money is an idiot. It flows in the direction of ideas. That's my book. If you don't like me, now you sabi. If you don't like me, bust you. I need financial orgasm. Produce a t-shirt. I'm a 2-minute man. I have too many things on my mind. I don't do side deals. I don't do side chicks. I do side deals. Those are my sayings, Dr. Apoki. And so I will produce those t-shirts and I will sell from my online store. And I shared it with Dr. Ofuma. He said, wow, why didn't I know this ever since? So even if you steal it now and produce it, you have expanded me to the world. So I'm not bothered about that. But don't try it. I will sue you. So the possibilities are there. Inspiration, instruction, intuition, ideas. They are the things that will make you prosper. Not government in this dispensation. Governments are going to flounder and falter. Think about the things that are with you, the things that are in your hand. And so the woman's oil expanded by the presence of Elisha, the instruction by Elisha. And then it stopped. And then Elisha gave her another insight. Go sell your oil, pay your debt, and live on the rest. That means to say, posterity now came in. After paying the debt, she will have an income that she can live on perpetually. I've told you that in my sitting room, I have a lot of books. Lot of books I have published. In fact, I've written more than 40 books. A lot of them have gone out of circulation, and we just produced about 12, 13. So I I can, in the next year, produce more books, write more books, produce intellectual wealth that my children's children can progressively benefit from. That's why you have Walmart supermarket established by Sam Walton. You have Pick and Pay in South Africa. You have Four Cousins Wine from South Africa. You have Martinelli's Wine from the United States. You have Walmart by Sam Walton, and several things that people established before now that their children's children are benefiting from. Like Kellogg's. Kellogg's is a trust. Like Rolex. Rolex is a trust. Sabanci Foundation in Turkey pays 5% of the annual tax of Turkey. There are several businesses that people have established that have outlived them. Is it possible with Africans? Yes. Dangote is doing it. Mo Ibrahim is doing it. And so we can do it too. Let's not think of only the next year. This year is my year of this. No. Let's think about posterity. Remember the 5 P's. Predict, prophecy or predictive living, prayer, potentials, prosperity, and posterity. And remember the things to pray for. The 7 I's. The 7 I's that you need to pray for. Information, inspiration, instinct, insight, intuition, instructions, and impartation. I remain your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki. There are still more videos coming up. Stay tuned. Subscribe to this channel. And we have an online seminar coming up on the 10th and on the 11th of January. Hitting the ground running 2025 financially. And these things I just shared with you now are snacks. The main meal, I'm still cooking it. And it promises to be awesome. And people register from all over the world. If you register before the end of December, you have a 5,000 Naira discount for early registration. Send a message to +234 80 21 21 92 62. We have properties for sale. I remain your friend, Dr. Charles Apoki. God bless you.